A couple of months ago, in my update on my Franklin Planner experience, I kind of tongue-in-cheek pointed out that this, my classic bound Franklin Planner, is lighter than an iPad or a laptop, and actually not that far away from an iPhone Pro Max in size. And yet I got attacked, of course, because they said, oh, that stupid comparison. Yes, I know, it was tongue-in-cheek. However, for those people who are resisting the idea of perhaps at least testing out the Franklin Planner do have an alternative for those people who are sort of like weight sensitive. And that is these, what they call wirebound planners. Now, they're exactly the same format as the classic bound Franklin Planner, and you can get these in multiple sizes. Now, I have the classic size here, and today I want to take you through how these can be used as the same way as the Franklin Planner, but obviously with a lot less space requirements and a lot less weight. Now, when you buy a wire-bound Franklin Planner, it comes in a box like this. Now, inside this box, you will have 12 monthly notebooks, if you like. So this one's from February, and you can just pick up one of these at the beginning of every month. Now, I put this, or I have left this on my bookshelf next to my desk in the office area, and it's fantastic. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It actually looks quite good sat on my bookshelf, and it means that I have access to all the previous month's files or notebooks. But on a daily basis, you have in here basically exactly the same as you would have in the normal Franklin Planner. Now, a good thing about the bound version is it sits flat on your desk. So you can have it open all day on your table. You can see your tasks for the day. You can see your appointments for the day, and you have a space for notes. Now, that's great. That's wonderful. That takes care of the daily work that you have. However, at the beginning of each month, I will just share with you, you have, at the beginning of each of these notebooks, you have what's called the planner, the calendar planner. Now, I find it, because the digital calendar, in my view, is far better than the paper-based calendar. What I generally put in here are things that are like non-negotiable. So for instance, I would normally write in here that when my dog Louis' haircut appointment is, his grooming appointment is, and perhaps if I'm going to a doctor or seeing a dentist, I will put that in here because it's a good record, particularly the dentist and the doctor. Like every 6 months you go and have a checkup at the dentist. Now, it's good to be able to see when I last went, although these days, I have to be fair, my dentist does send me a text message. But then you also have here, which is, I would think of this as like the planning book. You don't necessarily need to carry this with you every single day. This is basically monthly, and it runs from January to December. Now, what you'll see in here is, again, you have the calendar of events, and I'm actually using this one for my calendar of events because what I've done in here is, you can see in red is my mother when she's here. She's coming over to Korea next month. I also have my plans, like projects that I want to work on, my goals, and the purchases that I'm thinking about buying in that month. Now, these are the sort of things that you can just leave on your table. You don't need to take these with you. These can just stay on your desk. But or stay near your desk. But the good thing about these is you also can use this as your index, if you like. So what you do is, if you put a note in your regular daily planner, what you do is you number it, as I've numbered here for my mother's shopping list, and then I can just put that in here. Now, to be honest, my mother's shopping list is not something I'm going to want to reference in December. I mean, she's gone. I don't need to worry about it anymore. But there might be a meeting note in there. There might be some additional information I've added in there that I need to know about in December. I can confidently write it into my daily note, and then reference it in my planning book, which is what I call this. This calls it monthly, but I call this my planning book because you have your master task list down there, and then again you have an index where you would put in all the items. Now this isn't filled in because I still prefer my actual classic Franklin planner with a binder, but that's just for me because it's nostalgic from a time when I was really learning the basics of time management and productivity. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to learn how to bring your whole life into an organized state, then check out my Time and Life Mastery program. It's packed full of techniques you can follow along with me at home, and you can find it in the description box below. And if you use the coupon code codisgreat, then you can get 50% off when you join. But if you are one of those people who says, oh no, I would be embarrassed to be carrying something like this with me every single day into meetings and so on, that's fine. I get that. I never take this out of the office. It does travel with me if I'm on a business trip or something. But again, it doesn't necessarily go into the meetings with me because I have a different system for taking meeting notes. But if you're wanting something a little bit smaller, a lot easier to carry, a lot more mobile, then one of these, the compass or the wire bound planning system that you want to use a Franklin planner, but you'd just be embarrassed with something like this, then this might be the way to go. And I really like the way that this is set up. On a day-to-day basis, this is what you use. You just use your monthly booklet. And then when you're doing the weekly planning, or even when you're doing daily planning at the end of the night, you can go refer to your planning book. This doesn't have to go with you. It just needs to be where you would normally do your planning. And given that this is something you're going to use for the full 12 months, it does have this wonderful plastic cover on the front, which does protect it from getting spilt on and stains and whatever. Although I actually quite like the idea of getting tea stains and coffee stains on here because it means that it's been used. So I just wanted to give this brief video on the update on the Franklin Planner. The question that people ask, are you still using it? Yes, I am. But for me, the only way that I'm using the Franklin Planner is that it is my planner. I plan my day using my Franklin Planner. As you can see that in the example I've given in here, I have planned the day, the night before, last night, I planned it in here, and I've already started making notes. I've also put a reminder highlighted that I have to pay my credit card tomorrow, and I just need to make sure that enough money is in the right account. This bookmark here relates to something that you get from Franklin Planner. It does come in this book. It comes in here, and just gotta find them. Yes, you get these like little cards that you can tear off and you can put into there. I've never really used that, but for those people who want to get hyper focused, it's got a great little line at the bottom, a blank sheet on the back that you can actually write down things that you really want to stay focused on. So this is a wonderful way of, if you want to lighten your load on a daily basis, this is actually maybe a way forward if you're considering using the Franklin Planner. As I say, it's a planning tool. It doesn't replace digital. I mean, digital tools, for instance, are superb at collecting stuff. Digital tools are superb at collecting notes because it's much easier to find when you use the search functions in your Notes app, for example. But to get you super focused on the day, something like this is fantastic. That's one of the reasons, or it is the reason, why I didn't stop using the Franklin Planner after my initial 3-month experiment. I just found that it gave me far more focus on the important things in the day. That's the reason why I use it. That's why I love my Franklin Planner. And I cannot foresee any time in the near future where I would stop doing my daily planning on using my Franklin Planner. Just wanted to give you an update. I know I've been getting a few comments on this recently. When's your next update video? But I thought I'd just do a little bit different and just show you an alternative to the bigger original, if you like, or legacy Franklin Planner, which is, yes, true, very big. But these little things they're nothing. They don't weigh anything. This genuinely is lighter than your cell phone. It also means that by writing and planning things in here, you're not distracted by notifications or anything else coming at you. You can just put your phone to one side, go to a quiet corner with a pen, and you can just start writing in these. One final tip for you fountain pen lovers out there. No, they don't work. Fountain pens in here, you get proper ghosting and oh, it's just horrible. I use just a regular ball pen when I'm using this because, to be honest, it's not going to work. Franklin Planner's biggest weakness is the quality of their paper. It is horrendous, but if you're not into fountain pens, it doesn't make any difference. These ball pens and most roller balls work perfectly well with the Franklin Planner. Now, if you want to learn more about my Franklin Planner journey, then this video up here is the one to watch next.